welcome to episode 1. That was such a weird intro. Welcome to episode 1 of this is going to be the manager mode series I was talking about in the previous video. Doing it with Sunderland is the team that I chose to take into this career mode, and we're going to initially change the stadium and change it to Stadium of Light because I'm a stickler for detail and OCD and things like that, and I like everything to be as realistic as possible. It's one of my many downfalls. Also, as I like things to be realistic as possible, we're going to have European competition in the first season, and when you first do it, it just puts in loads of random teams, but I did redo the draw so you get the actual teams that are in the competition, if you know what I mean. So we're going to have Champions League and Europa League competition in the first season, although obviously at Sunderland we won't be partaking in any of that, but still it will be going on in the background, and it's always nice to have as much going on as possible. Just creating my manager guy here. Going to have a cheeky shirt and tie for the sidelines, a grey one, so we're going to look prim and proper. I wasn't going to go with a tracksuit. I know Martin O'Neill at Sunderland does wear a tracksuit more often than not, but personally, I like the prim and proper, good old stiff upper lip English approach, and I'm going to be wearing a suit and tie. Now, first thing to do whenever starting a manager mode is initially have a look at the squad, see what you've got, see what you think you need. The default formation is a 4-2-3-1, which actually is my preferred formation so far on FIFA 13, so not going to be changing that too much. I am going to have a quick flick through to put a strongest 11 that we actually had on offer, and that is Mignolet, Barnsley, Brown, O'Shea, Danny Rose, Craig Gardner, Seb Larsson, Adam Johnson, is it Jamie McLean? That's going to come back to haunt me. Stefan Sessegnon and Stephen Fletcher. That's the initial starting 11, the strongest 11 that we had with the default squad. Did dive into the transfer market. I always like to, I know you're supposed to build up the youth and send them out on loan, and over the course of the entire 15 season span, bring the young players up through the system, but personally I always like to go through and get rid of as many of the youngsters that I'm just not going to play initially, so I can build up extra wage budget and extra transfer budget, because I think we get 12.5 million to start off with transfer budget wise, and 40,000 maybe 50,000 for the wage budget. So I want to free up some extra cash so we can bring in as many not top players because they're going to be too expensive, but as many improvements as possible. And the first player we're diving into the transfer market to maybe have a look at buying is Luca Antonini from AC Milan. But obviously, because this is the first episode, there is going to be quite a lot of transfer market stuff, but I have made a conscious effort to put the highlights of the first friendly game at the end of the episode, so there will be some gameplay. It's not going to be completely all market based. So sent the offer there for 2.1 million, I think I offered the initially for Luca Antonini, and Sergio Aguero there being linked with Real Madrid, who look like they may be losing Karim Benzema to Chelsea, which is a transfer that seems to happen on every manager mode I've seen so far. So hopefully it's not as scripted as previous manager mode transfers have been, but as you can see there, Luca Antonini did reject our first contract offer, which was 23,000 I think, but gonna go back in with an offer of £26,000 per week, 10% clean sheet bonus, put him down as a crucial first team player because I want him to feel needed and wanted, and he will be starting every week. So I think at left back, obviously at the minute we've got Danny Rose on loan from Tottenham. He's only rated 71, so whenever I do bring in a new player, I want to improve on the first team person that I've got in that position at the present moment. So obviously 71 to 77 for Luca Antonini would be a good improvement. Elisu here as well. I want to bring in an extra winger, or at least one extra winger, maybe two. Elisu is quality. I did look to loan him initially, but I think I'm going to try and go for the transfer because he's young. It says he's an important first team player at Malaga, but they do have a lot of financial backing themselves, so maybe looking to improve in that area. And he is only rated 75, but he would make a hell of a lot of difference for me out wide. So dived in for him, and Diawara is another player that I did have a look at. We've got at the minute Wes Brown and John O'Shea as our main centre backs. Now I know a lot of people look for youth when they first go out, and they try and bring in as many young players as possible. Personally, I like to bring in some youth on loan and make my permanent signings that, you know, players that are that little bit more experienced. But here is a great example of the youth on loan. Fantastic signing for us at Sunderland. Brought in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on a season-long loan from Arsenal, and to be honest, I was very, very pleased with that signing. And we also did get Luca Antonini to sign that contract for £26,000 a week, and he is joined up with our first team squad now, and he will be thrown straight into the starting lineup ahead of Danny Rose. And first initial offer for Diawara, just as you saw on screen, just before it flicked back to this Chelsea Huntelaar. They seem to want to, I'll throw the bottle cap on the floor. They seem to be really interested in getting a new striker at Chelsea. Obviously they've got Torres and Daniel Sturridge, but they are going to need some extra replacements. So they've been looking at Benzema, they're looking at Cavani there, and we are going to go straight into... Oh, sorry, that was like a really weird transition. We're going straight into our first friendly now, starting Antonini, and we're going to have Oxlade-Chamberlain's on the bench, I think. Yep, there he is, on the bench. And jumping into the first game against Chievo Verona, they're playing a narrow 4-1-2-1-2, so hopefully the idea was to try and get the ball wide and create as many chances as possible. Here, Adam Johnson, a good example of how the finesse shot's been toned down in their FIFA 13. Last year, he could quite easily have whipped that tops with a finesse shot, but it did go rather horribly wide, to be completely honest. But Stefan Sessegnon is the main hub where most of our chances come from. Good ball through there to Stephen Fletcher, who makes a good turn, gets a good shot away, but they are eventually able to clear as the keeper parries. But again, Sessegnon heavily involved with the ball coming through the middle again, and gets on the end of another layoff by Stephen Fletcher and just puts it just wide. That was a good effort actually, and although I had said initially I would want a lot of our chances to be coming from wide, a lot of the chances did seem to come through the middle, but we were get a lucky break there as the ball bounces free, but we were creating quite a few good chances actually. And here Adam Johnson with a fantastic ball through to Stephen Fletcher, who unfortunately he is a solid striker at 77 rating. He has got a fantastic left foot, but I would maybe like a player with a little bit more pace. We do have Louis Saha on the bench, so he's Seb Larsson with a chance that went just wide there. Sorry, I forgot about that. And but yeah, we have got Louis Saha on the bench as a second striker. We have also got Fraser Campbell in the reserves, and he does have a bit of pace. But I may look to try and find another striker with a little bit more pace. I'm not sure, because obviously we are only playing the one up top, but should any injuries occur and we have to change the formation, etc., to try something new, I would like to have a wealth of options. So might look to get another striker. Seb Larsson here with a rifled effort that went just over the bar. We were quite dominant actually. Larsson here again. Again, the finesse shots. I'm struggles with finesse shots right now. That was an actually horrific effort actually from Seb Larsson there, but we were on top for the entire game, and then into stoppage time here at the end of the second half. Chance not cleared properly. Fantastic first effort. Hits the post, and unfortunately we can't react in time. Pelissier with good feet manages to jink round Simon Mignolet, or Simon Mignolet, however you want to pronounce his Belgian name, and pops a goal in the back of net, and we do actually lose that game 1-0. But I was overall pleased with the performance, with the chances created, with the performance of Oxlade-Chamberlain coming in off the bench, and Louis Saha did okay as well. So looking positive towards the end of the first episode. We are going to try and obviously bring in some more players as the time goes by, and hopefully in the next episode we can get a win in our second friendly and bring in some more talent. So leave the video a like if you could be so kind. Let me know what you think of this opening episode. The next few might be longer or short. I haven't decided how long I'm going to make them. So yeah, I will see you in the next video.